All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today's Monday, September 30th, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading, alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Will be a site-wide sale tomorrow. I'll have that announced tomorrow. So we'll be doing our fall sale across the board, active trader, all coaching plans, all courses, swing trade alerts, all that stuff will be on sale. So that'll start tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that on my X page or Twitter. But in any case, let's get to this end of quarter edition out of the way here. So let's take a look at the intraday. So we've been following this channel here for a while. And look at this. We had a clean break this morning. We gapped down. We actually bought this in the trading room. And we had the kind of a false breakdown on the futures right at this level here this morning. And pretty good bid off of that as we reclaimed the 83, 84, 85 area. Floated up intraday and then kind of pulled back. End of the afternoon, retested, and then we had a little dump on Powell again, you know, pushing 25 basis points versus 50. It's not really that big of a deal, but it was an excuse for some volatility. I think some short sellers front running, a couple of reasons here for the big squeeze at the end of the day. Short sellers front running the JPM collar roll off and taking advantage of that bear headline. Got a little ahead of themselves. I talked about 570 on Twitter as well as with members, said watch that level. We broke back above, so technically this is a false breakdown of 570, back test, and huge squeeze. Why the squeeze? Well, again, a lot of short sellers getting a little jumpy. Take a look at VIXI. This ramped all morning, and it was ramping last week too. I think there's a lot of front running going on, but more importantly, I think the bigger reason here is end of month markup, right? I mean, we've seen this before. In fact, they did the same exact thing last month, right before Labor Day, right? We had the low here, and then we just floated up in big power move into the end of the day before they gapped it down on Monday. So do they do that tomorrow? We'll see. I do think momentum is still declining. There was not really a ton behind that. And I'm still seeing it on the daily right now. But we did close back inside of the channel, and you know, we'll give the benefit of the doubt to the bulls. I mean, basically it is an all-time closing high. In fact, yeah. So quarterly all-time closing high. And we're just off of the, you know, actual nominal all-time high there of 57.67. So bulls got a little pop here at the end of the day. Again, we'll see. Volatility should become a little bit more unpinned tomorrow. And I guess we'll know if they gap it down substantially. That would be obviously a negative. The JPM collar was like the worst kept secret, right? They attacked that at the end of the day. I don't think they really care because they burned it out so much towards, you know, most of the day and most of the week and most of the quarter. So I don't think they care that it closed, you know, 10 points above. But you can see here, hopefully we can get away from this SPY 570. I mean, this has been a level here going back to the 19th, right? So you had that big jump after FOMC, and each day we have closed, you know, almost every day. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the last 7, or 5 out of the last 7 days, 6, you know, 8 days. We've closed within $1 of that. So again, that remains a huge level. Look at the volume there. Again, a lot of end of quarter stuff going on. But good move there for the bulls here. Again, trend is still up. No real sell signal yet, but I'm not going to just fall for that end of quarter stuff here. Seen it plenty of times. But we'll see. Markets are holding up, and your all-time highs right there at 57.67. We'll see what they do in the overnight. We got a lot of jobs data this week. JOLTS tomorrow, ISMs at 10 a.m. ADP 8:15 Wednesday, jobless claims 8:30 Thursday, and then of course NFP on Friday. Let's say right now, we've talked about bonds here. And by the way, before I jump, net liquidity again plummeting here. So again, I'm just really not sure how much left is, not sure how much on this particular leg here is left on the upside, despite that little pump at the end of the day. But bonds here, 2-year yield. In fact, 2-10 spreads flattening out a little bit over the last 3 sessions. And you can see here, 2-year yield up nicely in reclaiming the 20 MA. It's not like it's in a huge uptrend, but you got the RSI. It's kind of getting divergent here. 5s, 10s, and 30s, same look. 30-year trying to put in kind of like a mini kind of bull flag pattern there. Same thing with the 10s. Why do I bring this up? We got 30 days until the election. There's only 2 more jobs reports until the election. It's like 35 days, right? I'm just going to go out on a limb. You tell me in the comments, are they going to let a giant, massive deflation print hit the jobs number this week? Like, do you think that's going to happen? Do you think they're going to let yields crash? I mean, I don't think I don't think that's likely. Jolts and ADP jobless claims might be a little bit different, but I would be shocked if non-farm payroll isn't magically like the best number ever, which could plummet rate cut odds, right? So I don't think being long treasuries here is probably the play right now. I think if you want to be long treasuries, you want to sell the rip in yields and let the rip happen. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. So we'll see how that shakes out. But yeah, Spider's getting a good pump, up 42 basis points. Q's only up 27. And again, dispersion alive and well. Again, take a look at the intraday. Q's pumping first 30 minutes. What would everything else do? The Dow was weak, S&P was weak, XLE was weak, and then the Russell took over, right? Started bidding up, and what happens? The Q's get weak. That should go away tomorrow, one would think and hope that we can get out of this environment here. But we'll see what happens. But Q's, again, a little bit weaker than the Spiders, only up 27 bips. Russell up exactly the same via the IWM. And again, it continues to just smash that trend line here. So it's holding up. So no real problems in the big picture. I just think personally this leg is about run its course here. That doesn't mean I'm calling for a crash, okay? You guys know how bullish I've been pretty much all year. Just calling it like I see it here. But IWM here holding up nicely. Dow up 4 basis points. It did have a topping tail on Friday, though, with an uptick in volume. We did close, we did make a new all-time closing high for what it's worth. There's the actual Dow. So technically that, was an all-time high, just like the SPX, but Q's again still off, and Russell obviously way off. SMH, here's a problem again. So I would prefer to see this act a little bit better. We'll see. Again, it's first of the quarter tomorrow, so maybe that changes. But SMH down 2.2 or $2.29, so about 1%. And again, hanging man on Thursday, and it closed back below 250 on Friday, and again a down day again today. So Nvidia managing to close flat, not the greatest look, but it was flat. Broadcom, TSM came off the lows today, but still got lower highs there. And Nvidia here now 4 lower highs. So if we make if we take this low out here, 1322, probably going to go head down to these lower areas, maybe even the 200 MA again. And you can see the SMH, there's the 200 MA lining up with that trend line as well. IGV held up very well. Again, still don't love the island look, but it's holding up and it's at all-time highs. Oracle's still hanging in there. Dow Transport's hanging in there. So big picture, I don't think the market's in any sort of structural problem here. So I just want to make that clear to everybody. But again, 16.3, there we are. That's that big level we've been talking about a lot. It's hammered on it all year long, literally, for almost a whole year. And we're just, hitting it with higher lows. I think if we back off one more time, we'll go up and test, 16.5, 16.6. And if you close above that on a weekly, again, I think, all bets are off there. We'll see about that. We talked about rates. XHB here up 0.25%. This is still very strong. No problems with XHB. BNQ was, look at this. This is weak all day. And then look, end of year or end of quarter, big markup in the last 30 minutes. So it was well read on the day. And managed to finish up. XLF up 17 cents. Take a look at JPM. We talked about this in the trading room here. What a dip buy. So we had a signal that kind of triggered late on this, but talked about this going back to 210. It did, dipped back intraday and then all the way back up to 211. So we've been mentioning this in the daily video every day. So I don't like how it looks. Looks kind of more like a bear flag, but I like the dip buy here in the closed green. That's good. So anytime you're that deep red and you manage to close green, never a bad thing. But we'll see where it ends up tomorrow. Again, a lot of end of quarter stuff going on. Everything got pumped in the last couple minutes, obviously, right? KRE up 68 cents. Again, look at where it did, though. Went right back to the wedge top side trend line, and it backed off by the end of the day. So it was very strong in the morning. Look at this. Big rally all morning, carrying the Russell, and then boom, down intraday. Closed at the highs, or off the highs, but still below that wedge trend line. The KBE up 54 cents. That's back above the 20. And then broker dealers here, big bid at the look at this bid at the end of the day. Some of these things just got ridiculous. Look at that move. 683 to 690, very fast. Still technically inside bar, bull flag. So XBD still very strong. Oil up 4 cents. I believe on the COMEX futures are slightly lower. Still has a chance for a higher low here though. And again, it held the 68 handle on the retest. Now you want to see a higher high if you're a bull. For a bears, you want to see lower lows. I don't think this is going to go much lower past the election, though. But flattish today. XLE was up nicely. And it was up before the end of quarter markup, too. You know, it was hanging in there pretty nice. Got a nice bid at the end of the day. But it was holding up already anyway. XOP, same exact thing, although it's back above the 20. Same as the OIH. I think I'm watching these on pattern going into the end of the month. CCJ held up as well, although, you know, again, backing off of the 48-49 handle. We know that's resistance. It needs to back off. NM, a little bit weaker. Again, resistance here. Same thing with NJ. And again, before I forget, China stocks continuing. Well, they did continue. ASHR. Look at ASHR. By the way, amazing. I thought we were going to go higher. We had these in the swing trade alerts. ASHR at 23.48, FXI at 25.60. I knew they were going to stimulate, but this is absolutely insane. Now, we're coming into some resistance, though. If we look at FXI on the weekly, hitting the weekly 200, we gapped into it, pivots sitting in there. So, overbought, don't chase them up here. I mean, if you're chasing up here, you're way late to the party. Right, and then there's the Shanghai. Again, on the weekly here as well. A lot of pivots here. Look what you're going into, right? Let's take a fib too. Right, 618, pivot. All these buyers are trapped. So if there's an area that would be pulling back in or harvesting gains, this is where I would look for that to happen. But China's still on an absolute tear for now. Again, FXI, a little gap and crap. Could be about done. Maybe some buyer exhaustion finally. All right, now let's get over to Nat Gas. Nat Gas held up again today. So fractionally, yeah, it's basically flat. Big pump on Friday and it held up here. I think it needs to do a little more consolidation. Then we'll see past 3 before too long. Dollar index just won't go down. So look at all this selling, right? Sellers everywhere. Lower highs every day, lower lows almost every day, but very little reward, right? Like if we turn this into a line graph, it's barely closing lower every day, right? So you can tell sellers are losing momentum, right? Going into jobs, again, I don't think they're going to allow a big deflation print, which I still think the dollar can get a good squeeze here. So we'll see. It's holding up all right. Gold pulling back finally. May just be overbought. No technical problems, though. Still above all the moving averages. So a pullback here is fine. Nothing wrong with that. GDX pulling back in as well, down 1 1/3. It came off the lows by the end of the day. Sure, a lot of funds window dressed that, yeah, into the end of the day. Oh, we owned GDX, yeah, you know, into the end of the quarter. I'm sure that happened. But, yeah, gold pulling back here. No real problem. Silver here down 1 1/4. Still inside of the breakup bar from last week. Platinum down 3%. And palladium down 2 3/4. I think these are getting interesting again. And then copper, wacky candle here. By the way, there was contract rolls across the metals today. That could explain some of the selling too. And that probably explains that wacky candle there on copper. A lot of it doing with China as well, I'm sure. But maybe a short-term top there on copper. But again, seems to be pricing in a lot of growth right now. And the Fed seems to be cutting. So we'll see how that works. Bitcoin here pulled back again today. So we had a nice attempted breakout. Now we're back checking to that. Back checking this trend line as well. Again, I wouldn't be against another dip here. I've talked about that very openly. So this is fine if it does that. I think it puts in a higher low afterwards though, if it even does. But Bitcoin backing off here today, pretty good slice there. So we'll have to see if this pattern stays firm or if it loses that trend. It's probably going to have to come back and make another higher low. But I still really like it here. Either way, spiders here again, finishing back inside of the channel. 570 holding again. That's 57.20 on SPX. New all-time high, new all-time closing high. We'll see how much longer they can keep it going. But end of quarter, nice markup there. I think a lot of people front ran the JPM collar roll. By the way, I have the roll if anyone cares. 45.80 put, 54.25 put, and 60.20 call. So there's 54.25, 45.80. Forget that. We're not going to even worry about that right now. And then 60.20, we know where that is. That's for December. So, anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll have that sale up tomorrow. You guys take care, and I will see you guys all tomorrow.